Hi, friends. Hi. Hey, Jen. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that you're here, friend. You inspire me to do this more because you're so good at it. And I feel like I'm not, but I'm getting there. I love it. Hey, everybody. We're going to have so much fun tonight because we're going to talk about dating. Hey, boo. You are my boo. Remember when I was a fangirl? Jen, and now we're friends. Hi, Hillary.
Hi.
Um, I was just talking to Jen.
Hi, Jen. It's so good to see your name on here.
I know. And look at us coordinating. I didn't know you
Oh,
were wearing
yeah.
green.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Lone Star David. My parents praise for the orthodontics. That's all I can
Yes.
say.
Same. Same.
Right?
And yes. Oh my gosh. Teeth are so important. Like,
Oh,
can we just talk about that?
girl, I mean, since we're talking about dating, hey, aw, so sweet. I mean, I'm okay with first sharing about how I feel about teeth. Well, no,
Just
you
one.
know what? No, we'll get to it later. Never mind. I don't feel like launching into that. But yeah, teeth are important. They're like up there on my list
Yep.
of things. And I mean, a nice smile just has so much. It gives so much to the other person and my own soul. So I love to see it. So,
Yes.
how's
Same.
somebody's divorced
Hi.
today?
Oh my gosh.
Yay,
Congrats.
Miss
That's
Lee,
amazing.
Miss Lee. Yes,
I hope you're
congratulations.
celebrating in some capacity.
I know. Anybody else celebrating like a milestone, like either they filed this week or they're finalizing, or you made the decision that you know that you are done being married, whatever that is. York
Oh my
shot. Oh,
gosh.
oh my gosh. Thank you for joining from
Yes.
Yorkshire. Is that the right way to say it? I feel like it is because I did watch The Crown. Um, I feel like it's Yorkshire.
That's legit. Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds right. It sounds right.
it does.
Um, oh my gosh, well, it's so good to see everybody. So, it was, oh yes, such a freeing feeling. Like, be sure you exhale. I mean, really just
Yes.
exhale into it.
Yeah. It's worth celebrating not being married to your ex. Can we just talk about that? That is a celebration every
Snaps.
damn day.
Okay, made the decision, haven't filed. Okay, Amber, you got this. I mean, filing takes a lot. I was just talking to someone the other day about like practicing just going to the courthouse because, it's stressful. I still remember like 3 years ago, but like a practice run for filing. I mean, depending on how you're doing it could be helpful, but yeah, I mean, making the decision though is huge. And so proud of you for that. And yeah, you got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Oh, this is so cool.
I
So
know.
cool, everybody. Good to see you. Okay. All right, friends. So are we gonna jump in? We're gonna jump into dating.
Let's do it.
I
Let's
already
do it.
I already don't remember. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna start. Okay. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear like your kind of dating horror stories. I know Jen, if she's still here, she has one. It was wild. How does one deal with an anniversary month? Ah, okay. We can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, however you want. Like, whatever makes you happy, that is what you should prioritize. And you should prioritize being around people that lift you up. Um, my what would have been my 10-year anniversary was a few weeks ago. And this was like the first year where I feel like I didn't really feel much. Like I kept kind of like, I don't know, like testing myself. Like, do I feel upset? Do I feel sad? And I'm like, I don't know that I do. But it was not always like that. But I
Yeah.
think like keeping yourself busy and just being around the other like amazing people in your life and yeah, something, amen, Jen, something effing fabulous on that day and reclaim it. Yes, reclaim the memory, like make it a new memory.
Right. Actually, like kind of related to this. So I dropped off my engagement ring at the jeweler's last weekend. And it's been sitting in the box for a couple years, and I've been thinking like what other piece of jewelry can I get made from it, or what am I going to do with it, basically? And I really love the setting. So it wasn't the original setting that I got when he proposed, but we got it updated at maybe year 15 or something like that. Anyway, I still really loved the setting. And so it just like occurred to me, like it hit me like a pie in the face. And I texted Hillary and I was like, what if it's a pinky ring? What if I make my engagement ring a
So
pinky ring?
cute.
And it is the cute I mean, I love it. Like that is what I did. So I kept the exact same setting. I mean, a lot of people change it and I get that, but the whole idea of like reclaiming and reframing is really to see something differently than you did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is how I'm going to see that ring. And the other thing is too, that ring does signify 22 years of time and two kids and positive memories, some positive, not all, clearly.
Yeah.
But I think that that really is a possible thing for you to consider for your anniversary day. Is like how it can be yours. And
Mm-hmm.
even if that means honoring the marriage and what it was, I think is okay. You don't have to act like it didn't exist. It's just that it's going to mean something new.
And you know what? We're going to do a post on this. I'm
Yeah.
writing it down. So
Okay.
stay tuned
All
because I
right.
think that we can come up with some really great ideas and we can also ask the community because I know everybody else has some amazing ideas too. So stay tuned because I like this idea.
Yeah. Okay. First
All right.
situation. Okay. Red flags. Okay, so all right, so we're going to talk about dating a little bit, and then we're going to talk about this idea of like intermittent companionship, which we posted about a couple of weeks ago. But Hillary, you want to start? I feel like you've had the most kind of traumatic dating experience, um, like out of marriage, and then I have some humorous ones, but yours is
Yeah.
really really heartbreaking in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah. So I was not interested in dating for, I would say, a good like 18 months after my marriage and like after all was said and done. I had literally no interest in dating. Like I would see people on like this is how bad it was. Like I would see like couples on the street and I would be like, they're not happy. No, they're not. Like just like I was so jaded from like my own bad experiences. So, it was actually Bethany who convinced me like she's like, let's just do like market research, Hillary. Because I like what dating wasn't like on my mind at all. And she was like, let's just do some market research. And or I don't know if she called it market research, that's probably not what she said, but it was something like, let's do
Let's do an experiment. I
let's
still
do an
remember that.
experiment. I remember the conversation. And I was like, she's like, because I just downloaded Hinge and like I don't even think I knew what Hinge was. I was like, what what are the dating apps, because I didn't use the dating apps before I was married, like when I met my ex-husband, like people were using them but not, they were not as popular as they are now, and they were not like a normal thing that everybody did. People kind of met in the wild at the bar, and that's where I met my ex-husband, so probably not the best place to meet somebody, but whatever. Yes, so I was like, all right, I'll download the apps and see what happens. So I downloaded Hinge. And I was on there for about a month or two, and I kind of had a couple conversations with people, but I hadn't really figured out why I was doing it, other than the fact that I was like, this will be fun, like this will be a fun experiment kind of thing. Hindsight, like, no, that's not was not a good time for me to do it. So yeah, the apps are horrible. Um, so yeah, I ended up meeting somebody and I fell super, super, super duper fast for this person. Like, I mean, Bethany
Girl,
knows.
girl,
Go ahead.
girl,
Pipe in.
y'all. This still boggles my mind. Okay, this child said, this is like 4 weeks in. She's like, I can just see myself. I can see us having kids. And that would be great.
That's wild.
I'd be
Like,
okay with that. Like she was literally
I was
like
really okay with that too.
had like an
In
18
that
month
moment in
old.
time. I had
Had
18, yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
I said, I mean, I listened because I'm a good friend. I was like,
You are.
yep,
Yes.
yep. I mean, it was kind of like an adventure, and I was happy for her. I also
Oh,
missed her
I
because she
was
was like she would, you would call me like in between your rides to Pennsylvania, and you would be like, "Okay, I got 15 minutes. Let's talk."
I know. I'd be like, all right, let me do a deep dive. And like, obviously, there's a lot of things that are problematic about how I approached it. Um, but through the experience, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about things that you shouldn't do. I learned a lot about red flags that you should look for. Like, let's not talk like let's not I don't know, say we love somebody after a few weeks. I don't know, probably not a good probably I don't know. I mean, that's what it felt like, it felt like that, but like, because the relationship ended up like crashing and burning, like it kind of crashed and burned after like 3 months, and then it was kind of like off and on, and then it was like official for a few months, and then it crashed and burned again. So like, and it's, you know, there was a, and then it like, there was a lot. There was a lot that happened. But yeah, like I learned a lot about like how how important it is to not center like a romantic relationship like in your life, like how important it is, because that was what I was like starting to do, and like
Mhm.
I think that that triggered him in like other ways. Like I'm not going to speak for him. I also know that he like still follows and supports us, so I'm not going to like completely like go off the ridges, the guardrails. And now like we're like on good terms, like we're not like in a bad spot or anything, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that like it really hurt. Like when it ended, it really, really hurt. And it still hurts sometimes, like when I think about it, because this was a person that I really, really cared about. But like,
Mhm.
again, not to get off too off topic, but like I mistakenly made that the center of my life in a way that I shouldn't have. And I think that that's a good segue into into this whole like new concept of intermittent companionship. And that's kind of like what, well, Bethany coined the term because she's like our guru when it comes to naming things, because she's always got like some kind of snazzy name for something. But um, I think that other people have been doing it for years and have been calling it different things, but that's kind of like what we call it. But it's just like this idea that like you can you can have a fulfilling like romantic relationship that's monogamous, because that's the other big thing, is that it is monogamous. Um, but it's just that you don't have to like have like a like an end goal. Like you don't have to have like, well, we're going to get married in a few years, because like that's kind of like where my mind was when I married my ex-husband. As I was like, okay, I'm meeting him at a point in my life where I want to have kids at a certain time. That means I want to get married at a certain time. So I like was logically like going through in my mind like how how many years I should know this person before like we get committed and get married and have kids. And like that's also the wrong way to approach it. It's just like you have to have all these life experiences where things fail. I mean, at least I did, to in order to really learn about what I want going forward. But I know I've kind of gone off in some weird rabbit holes, but like or some like, some tangents, whatever. But I think the biggest thing here is just realizing that romantic love is not like the only thing in your life. And if you're the type of person like I am that tends to like self abandon to make a relationship work, or to, put it like prioritize it above other things when it shouldn't be that way, I think that this is like there's a lot of unlearning that needs to happen, and like framing it as something like intermittent companionship can kind of give you some really good guardrails to kind of like check yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was rough for you. And my dating experience has since divorce has been, I think, a little bit more up and down. But I think, Hillary, what you touched on is, and I saw a comment. Yeah, no more paying for shenanigans at all. We are not paying money for this shit. I mean, really,
No,
like what
no,
you went through, like you paid for that ultimately.
I
Not
did.
just like on the app, but like your time, like and your hey Anissa. Um,
Hi.
so anyhow, it gets expensive. But what I was going to say is I had been married 22 years. So I had not dated since, as my kids would say, the 1900s. Okay. There were no apps. And like I was in grad school when I met my ex-husband. So my frontal lobe, my brain wasn't fully developed, and I sort of was feeling like the pull that we all kind of feel growing up in society is that you have to have a romantic partner. Like that will complete your life. This is what everyone should be looking for. This is right for everybody. And so I was very much in that, on that, sort of hamster wheel of life. And so he seemed to fit well enough. And then we embarked. So anyhow, here I am like 25 years after that, trying to sort of negotiate what is, normal or not normal, but what is dating.
Yeah.
And then I will say this too, is like someone who is 52, yes, yes, that we did not really do a lot of therapy as like younger people, like Hillary, like your millennial, group. I feel like you all are much more therapized than people like 40 something, like 45 and up. I mean, it's I don't know, this is just my theory, but anyhow, so all that being said, I think that there's a lot for me that I'm still unpacking about what kind of relationship I want. Hillary thinks that I'm an avoidant, which
You might lean that way a little
I
bit.
might lean that way. I mean, I'm a kind person. I never want to like actually hurt anybody by being intentionally avoidant, but I'm exploring those tendencies, and I think that that is the other reason why intermittent companionship just feels right. Basically, it's like I want to be bothered when I want to be bothered. And I think that that's okay. And I think a lot of divorced people like that resonates with us, because we're coming out of something that, ended not how we planned it to end, and we've been through some really difficult things. And so the idea of having another person like kind of up close and center in my face every day, like let's talk about what we're having for dinner, let's talk about what plans we're making, let's do.
Yeah.
Like,
Not to mention like custody schedules. So like I have a friend group that we all have kids around the same age, and like I mean, we're friends because we're friends, but like we're also like friends because our kids, we have the same weekends like with our kids versus without our kids. And like that's like a huge deal. Like that's something that has come up in like conversation, like, oh, I matched with somebody but he has a different weekend with his kids, so this could never work out. And like that's also like a huge concern. Like the logistics of dating is also like really tricky when you're a single parent, especially because your time is limited. It's limited in a way that it wasn't limited the last time we were dating. um and like Bethany said, our tolerance for BS has gotten a lot like lower. And your time is precious. So
right. And the other thing too that I'm realizing that like we don't talk enough about platonic relationships and having a really good friendship with someone before we start dating. I mean, we are attracted to like the very surface things, right? And so you know what you like, and and the butterflies and all those kinds of things. But I really, if I ever fall in love again, but even for the intermittent companion, the core of that is a friendship, and I
yeah,
commented earlier, like I joke about it, but honestly, Teddy Roosevelt is my favorite president. We could this could be another whole live, and
it
I
could
would
be.
give you an outline. We're not going to do that now, but my favorite president. So I'm kind of like, you know what? If I'm in the wild, or I find a person, a friend, and we're having a conversation about a range of things, and they're actually interested in why Teddy Roosevelt is my favorite president, and and we have a conversation that feels good. I'm like, yeah, okay, this could be a good indication. So something so minuscule, but it's just those are the kinds of like friend moments, because those are the same moments that I would look for in any in a friend, and any
Hmm.
potential new person that I'm going to bring into my life, whether it's friend only or it's platonic, is like can we connect about something,
Yes.
meaningful, other than like a mutual attraction, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and that's how we usually lead, and that just doesn't feel right for me anymore. And it's also something I know I need to really walk into slowly. Hence the intermittent companionship, so I can still enjoy freedom. Because, okay, can you everyone drop a heart if like divorce, if you feel like I'm enjoying my freedom? Because I feel like that also is a common theme, and so it's hard to want to give that up, and some people don't understand it. um and anyhow, I think it's wide ranging. So
Yeah.
okay,
No, I
yes,
really
people
do.
are dropping hearts, yes, because we love our freedom.
Yeah. And
um
I just want to go back to the friendship piece. So that was one thing, and this again is through like years of like figure like kind of like reflecting on my marriage and things like that. But like one thing that my ex-husband and I were totally missing was a friendship. Like we were never friends. Like we met and like kind of like had an instant romantic connection and then just like went from there. But like I felt like, I mean, we had fun times. I'm not going to say that we didn't, but like we didn't have like a true friendship. And like, because we didn't like a lot of the same things. Like we didn't like enjoy doing like hobbies together, really. I mean, there were some things that we liked to do, but like overall, like, no, we didn't like have fun, like doing the mundane things. And like that, I think that was also one thing that really, really attracted me up to my ex-boyfriend was that I felt like more of a friendship with him and like I felt like I enjoyed his companionship in a way that I never did with my ex-husband, which I think is also like part of the reason why I fell so hard because it felt like everything that I was missing from my marriage was like being fulfilled in this new relationship. And I think that that's kind of like what kind of blinded me in a way to like the other things. Um, so I say all that again to say that like friendship is like a really key component to another romantic relationship for me, but it's also like you have to look at it in the bigger picture too. Because and again, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole again, but like I remember talking to my therapist about this piece about like why is the first breakup post divorce so hard? And she said, oftentimes, like I remember she said, like oftentimes it's because we have, yes, people here, like it's awful. Like the first breakup after divorce, it's like, I mean, I still feel like awful about it sometimes, but like it's because like we were so starved in a way for like something that our marriage never gave us. And then we found it and then it got ripped from us again. And it was just like it's hard. It's hard to like have your heart broken in all the ways throughout your divorce and then to have it broken in like new ways like
right.
after divorce. Um, but if I'm going to reframe it, one thing I will say from that relationship that I got out of it is that I learned that I can love in a way that I didn't know I could love. And I can feel things that I didn't think I could feel. So it's bittersweet though, right? Because like it sucks, but like it still reminds me that like I'm capable of it because like for a while I was worried that I just thought love was completely dead. So I'm glad that this person showed me that it's not and that I am capable of having those feelings for someone else.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm like I'm in a good place now, like I really am. But I, it still is hard.
It
So
carry well, and I think, and it's not like it's not black and white. I mean, we're a
no,
big fan of always saying like two things can be true, right? So
yeah.
we enjoy our freedom, and we also, Anissa, I think
Hi,
you
Carrie.
commented, that you miss companionship. You
Yeah,
miss having a companion, someone that might be there when you get home with a glass of sparkling water for you or whatever, to say like, oh, welcome back, I certainly missed having a partner when I was in the hospital with my daughter a couple weeks ago. Like it felt really lonely. And so, two things can be true. And it's like, how do you, like, what is the right interval of companionship? I think is the question. And I think divorce teaches us that we have to operate in the gray. We have to
Yeah,
operate in the gray areas because this idea of like polar opposites, like it's either or, just
we
doesn't apply
do.
to us anymore. It truly doesn't. And that's what we have to talk about. That's why this space is so important, because we're all navigating what the gray looks like for us, and there are no right answers.
Yeah, there really aren't. And we're all kind of like figuring it out in real time. And that's why, again, community is so important because having friends that you can talk to about it that have also maybe not gone through the exact same thing, but something similar. It's just for me, that's like, I know I talk about this in all the ways, but it's that validation piece that is so important and so key for me. Is just like, you know, like just knowing that somebody gets it. And no, I'm not dating anybody right now. I don't know who asked that, but no, I'm not.
Right.
Casually, I get. I mean, no one in particular, but
And Nikki, that was Nikki just made a great suggestion, like about doing like social groups and things like that. And so she, gets to see a personality in a group setting before even thinking of dating. I mean, that
that's
is
so
the best.
true.
Okay, I'm going to tell y'all an idea that I have.
Oh,
I'm going
this is
to
brilliant.
I'm going to post about it. But okay, so you know how most big cities, right? If you live in a big city or near a big city, there's going to be some kind of conference that comes to that city, whether it's the Society of Dentists or Society of Data Managers or whatever it might be, right? And so my idea is that I think I'm just going to go to the convention center, to the hotel where most people are staying, not alone, but with Hillary, and just sit in the bar and just like we're going to go out and have fun. But the likelihood that I might meet someone there could be greater than me just walking around Safeway.
Yes.
So I feel like this is a strategy. Like, what do y'all think? Like, does that high from the UK? Like,
Yes, let's do the DC conference circuit. I am so down for that.
oh, who said that? Who said that? Is that Jen?
Jed, yes.
Yes, yes, boo. Because DC's got like, I mean, again, convention center, hotels, like, and we all go out and have a great time. It's like sitting at the bar,
Yeah, it really is.
like you sit at the bar. So when you go out on a solo date, if you feel like being, bothered or having conversation, and that is a really cool opportunity to just some spontaneous connection. Again,
Yeah.
whether you make one or not isn't a measure of how effective it was to go out or like the overall experience, because you're not going out there for that. But if it happens, it's like putting yourself in certain environments. So yeah,
Yes.
Nikki, like exactly what you said, like seeing, people in a group, but also just putting yourself in certain groups. And professional conference sounds good because I look, somebody's got to be employed. Okay, you've
Yeah, this
got
is
to have some sort of vocation.
yeah.
So that is a
Yeah.
prerequisite, and that's why I would be at the conference. I mean,
Yeah.
not that verifies anything, but there's at least some sort of interest in
There's
that.
a higher likelihood. The odds are more in your favor that way rather
Yeah.
than just because I mean that's how we used to meet people back in the day out in the wild. This is just more strategic, and it's more thoughtful, I think. And I mean, like we've tried it's not like we're not trying the dating apps. We're trying them. They just are sucking. So what else are we to do, really? Um,
Wait, so well, someone just like put a quick note about like meeting a lesbian in the wild. And I was just gonna say a lot of cities have like, like weekly happy hours,
hmm.
that you might find to be like a cool group setting. But message me, send us a DM, and I'll like shoot you a resource that I'm aware of.
And I've been to some as an ally, but like
Mhm,
I
mhm,
have been
mhm.
to some.
So proud of you for that.
I
So proud
know.
of you.
I know. I know.
Very cool. All right. So what else? What else y'all want to talk about? Any
Somebody,
other? Oh,
oh,
go
somebody
ahead.
brought up ghosting a little while ago. Like
Oh,
somebody
yes.
said that they went on 3 dates with someone and
Hmm.
then they ghosted them. And I freaking hate that. Like I think we can all say that if we're on dating apps, we've probably all been ghosted and we've also probably been the ghoster. Because I just kind of did that to somebody recently. It wasn't intentional. I just didn't respond in a certain period of time. And I think he took that as ghosting because he unmatched me, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
Is this
sorry."
the one
Like,
that was? Is this the one that was really aggressive with you? Like our values don't align. That
No,
one?
that was someone
Oh,
else. That was someone
okay.
else that I had to block. I had to block him
Yeah.
because this person, like, we became friends on Facebook, and he messaged me, and he was messaging me through Messenger, and we were chatting, and he had messaged me, and I didn't respond for most of the day, and he sent me this creepy screenshot of my active status on Facebook, and he was like, okay, like I clearly you've been on Facebook and you've just chosen to ignore my message. And then he said something like, you need to do better for the next guy and do better for your kids. And I was like, dude, this is a lot. Like, first of all, don't bring my kids into this. This has nothing to do with it. And we've honestly exchanged I don't know, we had exchanged maybe 10 messages. It was not that serious. It was not that deep. But I was like, damn, just I know. Just so I ended up blocking him, and
Yes.
because it's
Yeah.
oh,
He
I
had to
did you
be.
just see that?
What happened?
This is the blooper. My little partition. Hold up.
It just
Hold up.
fell?
It's falling, and so is my lamp. This is why you don't buy things on the internet.
Girl. Oh my gosh. This is so funny.
Oh my
Yes.
God. Ew,
Oh,
it's like his spirit was coming by to creep me out or something. Right?
okay. Yeah. Thank God you didn't get hurt though. I
I
mean,
know. I
it could have
saw it
gone
happen.
the other
And
way. I
lo
think it
and
was just
behold,
everyone was so disgusted by it. It was like a gust of that.
it
But
really
oh,
was.
Jen, you just dropped definitely a gem here. Google Voice numbers. So if you don't know what Google Voice is, get yourself a Google Voice number. Um, and oh, I like this, like no social media exchanges. Jen, you want to just join and say something?
Yeah, Jen, you should just come in
I
if you
know,
want
Jen,
to.
just ask to join. I mean, if you're open to it, like I don't no pressure, right? But you are a wealth of knowledge and experience. So but yeah, and no social media exchanges until exclusive. That is that's interesting.
Huh. So
Yeah.
I agree with that really point. But then my other thing is when it comes to online dating, I always want to review their social media profiles before, because in a way it's almost like your sense of seeing them in the wild, right? It's seeing them how many friends do you have? Are you active on social media? Do people do you comment? And again, I know people have different opinions on social media, and they're, some people don't go on it that much, and that's fine, but it always makes me feel better if somebody has a decent social media blueprint or thumbprint, or what was it? I'm so bad with
It's a
whatever the
footprint.
footprint. That's what it is. I knew it
A
was
footprint.
something.
There she
Yes.
is.
Hello,
Hi, friends.
beautiful.
Hello, beautiful friend with your beautiful energy.
I know. I'm so excited. This was such an unexpected treat to have you here.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I've been commenting for so long. Just fucking let me in.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. If you don't know Jen, this is Jen Polt from Making Up for Gloss Time.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Hi,
Yes.
fam. Hi. Yeah,
Hi.
let's talk about dating.
Right?
God bless it.
See,
Help
we
us
don't need,
all.
we just need a dog, really.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I highly recommend getting a dog. I did that when my separation happened, and that was the best thing I ever did for myself. But
Yeah.
yes, okay, so to my comment, Google Voice numbers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I'm doing is that I am telling them when I give them my number that it's a Google Voice number,
Okay. All
because
right.
I'm also using it as a filter to see if they are cool with me
Ah.
setting a boundary.
Oh, that's a good.
Ooh.
Ooh,
And
good,
I will tell you,
good
I have
nugget.
been able to filter out multiple people just in the reaction they have to not getting my actual phone number and getting a Google Voice number.
Huh. I
Like
like that.
multiple men have pushed back and been like, had a real problem with it, and other men were like, totally understand, you need to protect yourself, totally understand, whenever you're comfortable, this works for me.
Love
So
it.
immediately it gives you like a filter for, is this someone who's going to receive the, especially as a woman,
Yeah.
dating as a woman dating men, especially for a man to recognize that a woman might need to protect herself, and a phone number is one of the ways that she can protect herself, and to not be empathetic to that is already a flag and can
Oh, yeah.
immediately filter them out as far as I'm concerned. Like, see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Seriously.
but I'm
So
very transparent. I'm like, hey, I use a Google Voice number in the beginning until I get to know someone, until we've had some dates. I'm happy to exchange other personal information as we get to know each other, but this is where I start.
Hmm.
Ken is incredulous about from a phone number, but we have to look at all the data, Ken.
What do you
Um,
mean? What from a phone number?
I feel like he's saying like, you make all these determinations just from an exchange about a phone number. Ken, is that what you're
100%,
saying?
because someone can take your phone number, throw it into Google, do a reverse phone search, and find out where you live. And then once they find out where you live and what your last name is, they can find out where you work. They
Yeah.
can cross reference your LinkedIn, your this, your that. They can find your family on your Facebook. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, from a phone number.
Well, and I think
One.
it comes down to like what it makes you feel safe, right? Like
Yes.
these are just the ideas that that some of us are putting in place. But again, there's no absolute here. Like this is a best practice you must follow, like getting a dental cleaning. It's
Right.
just saying that like this is what I need to feel safe in this new experience. After all that. But someone did ask what a Google Voice number is. So like Google, like if you have a Gmail account or the Google suite of all the things that they have, there's one that is a phone number. It's kind of like a web-based phone number that you can connect to your real phone number, but it kind of is a mask for your real phone number, and it's free to get. And it's in a separate app, and you can see messages come in, or you can set it that the messages come to your regular phone. But that's what it is. So, but it's free, and if that's something that you think will help you feel safe, I'm here for it.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like you said, a boundary too. It's also a good boundary tester. Like, are you cool with me setting a boundary like right away?
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I don't consider it arrogance at all. I consider it a balance. And the other thing is too, I mean, I'm not asking for someone's last name when I'm just talking to them, when I'm just getting to know them. I'm trying to get to know them, organically. I mean, from my perspective
Hmm.
too, I think once we start, and the reason I don't do the social media thing is obvious because I'm on it. And I feel like so much of my personal life is on my social media, and I don't really want to give someone the cheat codes to who I am
Yeah.
and what I'm about. I would like to get like an old school kind of let's get to know each other. And I also don't spend a whole lot of time Googling people either, because I really would like to try to not do a deep dive and try to play sleuth. Because I would
Mm.
like to go back to that feeling of I'm going to uncover what I want, what I want to know about them organically in conversation. And I sometimes feel like it's the blessing and the curse, right, of having all
Yeah.
this access to information is that someone can go down the road and get to know things about you before you wanted to share those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want someone to know that I'm a creator online because there's this whole stigma around that. And until they get to know me and how I became this, that it wasn't, I'm not trying to be a Kardashian, but a lot of people think that like when you do this, that you're
Yes.
some self-absorbed somebody.
Oh God. Yeah.
And so there was
Yeah.
always that feeling for me too of like, and some men are intimidated by having, somebody who's in some online, they think they're going to get put on blast. And that's not me either. And so I've always wanted to kind of baby step into connection with people. And the same thing, like I want to have a coffee date and learn about someone, not have done 3 hours of research on Google and then come
Right.
armed with all this information and already predetermined thoughts about who they might be based on what I saw and let someone tell me their story. So I'm in that space of like, I'm doing this, yes, to protect myself, but also for like the old school discovery of just
Who a
learning
person
someone's
is.
story. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me though. Like we all have our perspective.
Yeah.
Right. And like to the point about conversation, and I would love to hear people's thoughts on this. Like, how do you have great conversation, when you do meet with someone, like asking questions, I think, I mean, because you're right, there's a certain amount of information that's out there already. And
Hmm.
I've heard advice like never talk about your last relationship, or never, ask someone that directly. I've never done that. Like, tell me about your romantic past. But I feel like there have got to be some strategic questions that, are good to involve in conversation so that you can elicit at least some baseline information about values and, where there might be alignment, right? But still
Yeah.
wanting to enjoy yourself. This is where my earth sign gets a little bit, hairy because I'm like, oh, let's be strategic about this. So,
Yes. Yeah.
what do you think,
Totally.
Jen? Like, what? I know you're asking good questions, girl. I know you are.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
she is.
I think, to Hillary's point, like, I do want to know about someone's friend group. I want to know, do they have friendships,
Mhm.
and what are their, like, who are the important people in their life? Who do they turn to? When the shit's hitting the fan, if they
Hmm.
don't have
Yeah.
a partner, like, who's their go-to person, and what's that relationship like? And do they, are they just to themselves and they don't have any like social friend, like, I also would like someone who has his own set of friends, and
Yeah.
has his own life, and that we're adding to each other's life, and not someone who wants to just make me the center. And I don't want someone that I want to have to orbit around either. I want to feel like,
Yeah.
hey, we have two great lives that we love living, but we'd like to share it. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Mhm.
And it's
It's a
not that
big
difficult.
yeah. No, it's a big responsibility to feel like that, like to feel like you're somebody's everything. And yeah, to your point, like that's why it is so important to kind of figure out like what else, what other things do they have in their lives going on that can kind of center them and kind of, what are their hobbies? What are another thing I like to ask is like, how are your thoughts on therapy? Because to me, that means like, are you into like self growth and are you into like deep conversations? Are you into, like I don't know, like empathy. That's a big value
Yeah.
for me, like that kind of hits all those things that I'm curious about.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah, I think it does. It helps, I mean, again, I think I want to get past the like, so where are you from, and how big's your
yeah,
family,
oh
and
my
like,
God.
the 10
I
step checklist. I'm so
I
over.
oh my God, I really think that dating apps should have like a PDF section where you can just upload like your fast facts, right? Like so we can stop asking those bullshit questions and wasting time because I mean they are important, don't get me wrong. Like they're important, right? But like just to have the same surface level conversation over and over and over again. That's how people get so burnt out from the apps. I
Oh
think that's
yeah,
when I get burnt out.
Yeah.
sure.
Um,
Dating fatigue.
seriously, it's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Exactly. Just like
Never,
relation. Right. Yeah.
right.
I also, the other question I like to ask or like to get to at some point, but it's very related to what you're saying, Jen, about friend group and all of that is, like, what's your relationship with your family like? What, whether siblings, parents, I mean, whatever it is, I think that's really insightful because I dated like my longest relationship after divorce was with someone who like talked to her dad maybe like I don't know, once every 4 months or I mean, it was really, it was kind of, it was interesting and I never really asked why, I just kind of like, but in retrospect, I wish I would have maybe talked a little bit more about that or
Hmm.
again, just tried to elicit an understanding, about what was there. Cause I think that like when we crashed and burned, like that was related to some inner childhood hurt that stemmed from her relationship with her father. But I don't know, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just, I just think it's another kind of interesting piece of information to pick up at some point when you're
Yeah,
dating someone. Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with all of those things. And what's the other thing I was going to bring up? Um, what's
Jen,
another
you're
good
so
question?
pretty.
I know.
Makeup
And
flawless.
look,
I
we're
mean,
all
that's
in
that's your
green.
brand,
And
but
that's why I felt safe to come on. I'm like, oh, I still have a face hug. Let's go. I'm like, my eyebrows are still on. Yes, I can go live. It's
Yes,
cool. Yeah.
love it.
Ken,
Love
what
it.
is going on with Ken? Ken is like Ken is like a little salty. Ken, why are you like what do you mean by let's hear it? I don't know. I mean, you can just comment, but like it's just
Yeah,
so
yeah. Ken
interesting.
apparently is the truth police, and so that's cool.
Um,
I didn't know. I
Yep.
didn't know you had the truth police on the chat today.
Oh, it's the drink. Okay. All right. Well, that happens too, right? The
Yeah.
truth police. But again, there's no truth after divorce except your own, honestly. I mean, I figure that out every day, and it's like it's permission to have that. And we should have really had it before. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate part, right? That like society kind of like, drills it out of you to prioritize yourself and in some way, shape, or form, or know your true self, talk about your true self, show up as your true self. And I think that that's the most ideal set of conditions for dating, right? That I can show up as my true self in this
Yeah.
space, as silly and corny and as I am or want to be in that moment. That's a really, it's something that we're all learning how to do, frankly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that I'm learning. I know that I'm learning how to do. So
Yeah, I hear you. It's funny. I've in my community, and you guys know because you're with me. There's all this talk, right, about dating because everyone's following my dating journey and what I'm talking about and all of that. And and yes, everyone's like, get off the apps, they're trash. And I'm like, and I just did a post about this I haven't put up yet. And what part of the reason I stay on is that what I think it does, and what I'm encouraging, the people I'm coaching to do is that what the apps do for me is they're a proving ground for me to test all of the things that I didn't do before.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so it's allowing me to show up in my most authentic version. And it's allowing me to ask the harder questions that I didn't ask in the beginning because I was trying to
Yeah.
keep it really nice and not be like too, deep dive into something. It's allowing me to test my own intuition, so as I date someone and like on the second date something gets said and my little spidey senses go, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, let's see how this plays out. Like the spidey senses go off, I make the mental note of like, oh, I think this might be an issue, but I continue to let the process happen. And then when it shows up later, I'm like, okay. And it helps with that kind of confidence muscle of trusting your intuition
Yeah.
more.
And
Because I
and like
think so many,
rewiring.
yeah. So I think so many people come out of divorce and they feel like, damn it, I saw some of this stuff early
Yeah.
and I ignored it. And my intuition and my gut was firing and knocking on the door like, yo.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, no, no.
I
That's
don't want
not.
to. I don't want to answer it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what it does is it, if for nothing else, it's like it's basically, it's like it's practice. It's training for those muscles to start strengthening so that you are more trusting of your intuition when you're like, yep, I didn't like what that felt like. This doesn't feel right to me, and I'm going to
Yeah.
exit faster than I would have in the past because I would have felt guilty doing it. But now I trust my intuition so much more. And so I think it's helping, at least if for nothing else, to fine tune my ability to be very honest about who I am and what I'm looking for and what my intentions are and what my hopes are in a relationship, and to be unapologetic about those things in myself, not from a cocky place, but in a place of like like just radical
Yeah.
candor about what I'm looking for and who I am in a relationship and what that feels like to me,
yeah,
and and not kind of try to mirror somebody else's shit.
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
and so that's why when I talk to people, I'm like, yes, they're not maybe the best place to find your person, but they're a really great place for you to practice finding your person.
I
right.
love that, honestly. I really do,
Yeah,
because the stakes are not as high, like
That,
they don't, like it's kind of like,
good
well,
point.
this one doesn't work out. There's another one coming through. Like there's another 10 in the hopper. Like, and I hate to
yeah,
say it like that, but like that's kind of what it's reduced to in some ways. But
Right. But
yeah,
I love the reframe of like it
yeah.
being practice though. Like I like
yeah,
that
Yes.
because sometimes, I mean, there have been times when I was on the apps, I'm not now, but where it's like I feel like it was a waste of time. I'm never going to get this time back in my life, and why did I go down this, this rabbit hole? But yeah, I walked away with actually really good experience of,
Mm-hmm.
and practice for what I am looking for. And I guess that's life.
It
I
is.
mean,
yeah.
it's
I mean, we
well,
don't get the 4 years of college back, but we still went, and most of us aren't doing the shit we went to college for.
That is true. That is true.
So,
right.
I mean, it's like you're not going to be great at a sport on the first day, and this is, some of this is that.
This is
It's
Yes.
why
it's
you
requiring
practice.
it's requiring you to build some strength and muscles that you may have let atrophy over time, especially if you were in a
Yes.
relationship for a long time. And especially if you were in a space where you were constantly like people pleasing somebody or just kind of trying to keep it nice and you weren't advocating for yourself and you weren't
Yeah.
saying like, hey, these are things that I need. This isn't just about like, oh, these are my wants in a relationship or my expectations. Like this is stuff like my heart needs. And if you haven't been advocating for yourself, you're out of practice. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
getting, and, I came out of a 13-year relationship and I was doing the math the other day. I'm like, 30 years plus as an adult. And I'm like, and I was in relationships for 30 of the 34 years. Like,
Yeah.
hello, like seriously.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like, okay,
absolutely.
I need to cut myself a break here. Like I'm out of practice. How do you get into practice?
You do it.
You keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also no one gives us like a guide. I mean, Hillary, you and I talk about this all the time. Like, where's my manual, right? For
Yeah.
like how to
Yeah.
even pick a partner, because people don't talk about it enough. Like I would love, and maybe we will have like a couple on that's been married like 30 years or together, and they're successful and like, okay, let's pick your brain. Like, of course we know it's not easy, but we don't talk about enough what makes relationships successful and enjoyable and fruitful and
Right.
having a companion over time. So of course no one knows. You just think, oh, I find this person, I have butterflies, I get the dress, I get the tux, and we're gonna go off and ride into the sunset. And it's like, no, no, but it
Yeah.
never occurred to me, to your point, Jen, you don't start a sport and just you're gonna be great. Like, same with dating. Like
Hmm.
so it's just it's like hitting a home run on like
Yeah.
in like your second game. Like
Yeah.
Right.
when you
The
pick a
high of
partner.
it is real, but like are you really that skilled or was it just
Right.
luck? You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't have the muscle memory for a successful
Hmm.
partnership. And so
Yep.
when you don't have the muscle memory for it, how do you build it?
Yeah.
And you build it by these smaller relationships, these lower stakes. And it's when I first, went through my divorce and I was shared it with my community, so many people were like, God, you're so optimistic about still like calling in somebody into your life and like how are you showing up and being open and how do you do that? I'm like, because I don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
Because if I want to share I mean, I love my life as a single woman. I've grown to really love this life 2.5 years later. But I also like sharing my life. I like coming home to
Hmm.
somebody and talking about our
Yeah.
day and like, the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of like, okay, but if I want that, then I have to be optimistic that I might find it. And but now what I get to do is as I'm dating, I get to really assert my truest self, my truest version when the stakes are low, like you said, Hillary.
Hmm.
Like, okay, the stakes are a lot lower. So if I say this kind of like really honest thing about myself and they don't run,
Yeah.
and if they do run, my feelings aren't hurt because I'm not that invested. But I
Right.
get to test
Exactly.
this out because the person who is right for you isn't going to run.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that sometimes we're just so obsessed with being chosen. I know that especially young, like, when I first started dating, like before I got married, like that was like that was it, like being chosen. And it's kind of embarrassing thinking about how much I edited myself over the years in order to be chosen. And
Yeah.
it's like, why? Because like once, I don't know. It's just, like you said, it's so much relearn, it's so much unlearning, relearning muscles, like, working muscles that we've never had to flex before, like all the things.
And
And
Yeah.
then also deciding, do I want to do the work? Because there's some
yeah,
like moments where I'm really like, you know what?
I don't need it.
I'm not interested in
I don't
doing
need it.
any of this. Like
No.
Yeah.
any of this. Like I have needs, and I would like those needs to be met
Yeah.
occasionally. But I don't know if I want to do all of the muscle work that is required for inviting someone in and having and there being any sense of longevity. That
Yeah.
that for me, I'm still figuring it out. But uh I'm comfortable saying that that's the space that I'm in. Like I feel like that, even that's progress for me to just say
Hmm.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I
Yeah,
want to do this work. Like that's refreshing because again, it's assumed kind of, like, well,
Yeah,
you meet someone and of course we want to do the same work. We're going to be the same level of commitment to this. Like that
for
wasn't
sure.
how it was in my marriage. So you can't just assume that. And I
Yeah,
yeah,
know, I think it's responsible to say, okay, this is the kind of work I'm willing to do. This is the kind of work I know I need to do, right? The awareness of it. But yeah, I'm like, only some work, like, occasional work is where I'm at right now.
exactly. Exactly. I only want to practice on every other Saturday.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
basically, like I'm like, yeah, I'm having trouble doing my own weight conditioning just like at the gym. So
just in
yeah,
Yeah.
life.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. Just in life.
yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Well, this really has been the best. I mean,
I
I don't know.
know.
We can go somewhere
We
else,
have
but
to do
like
this again.
the impromptu thing, like Jen, thank you for popping in. Like,
Sure.
Yes. Oh my
and
gosh.
again, if you don't know Jen, you need to follow her because Jen, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Making Up for Glossed Time, like lip gloss, past tense, on all the socials and on my website, glossedworld.com.
And what is your mission? Like,
My
tell
mission,
people what your mission.
I'm a transformation coach for women in midlife to help them come out of the shadows and become boldly self centered in their second half
Yep, yep.
Love it.
And we love
in
you
all
for
the
that.
ways.
We love you for
Yeah.
that because you do it with humor and you do it with grace and you do it with vulnerability,
And
Thank you.
um,
authenticity.
and warmth. I mean, friends,
Thanks.
I fangirled
I was just
Jen
gonna
like last
say,
summer.
oh
Girl,
my
do you
God,
remember
she
how hype
called
I
me.
was?
Yes, she called me and she's like, oh my God, you're never gonna believe this. Jen from Making Up for Gloss Time responded to my DM and we're gonna meet. She was like, I was like, oh yay. Like, like she was hype. So hype. So this is
Hype.
like so cool
And even
to
when we
like
got
be
on
this
the
class.
Zoom, I was even like more hyped. Like, is this really you? It was really her. And I was like, this is too much. This too
It's
much.
so
This
This
too
too
funny to
much.
much.
me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so weird. It's so weird to me. Like I'm just like I'm just Jen. I'm just
Yes.
Jen from
I know.
Jersey. Like,
Yes.
hey.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yes.
yeah, that's been my mission. I
Yeah.
mean, I think I started it, 5 years ago as a passion project and just like a side fun creative thing and it's really grown into this mission of just helping women come back to self. And that's what I mean about being self-centered. I don't mean like, oh, we're to the exclusion of everybody else's opinions and thoughts. It's that idea of so many women surrender themselves in their roles to other people,
Yeah.
and we surrender our opinion of ourselves to the opinions of other people. And whether someone finds us arrogant or someone finds us cocky or someone finds us whatever, and they don't like your haircut, like I don't care. Like I want women to be like, but what do I love? And so
Yeah.
my mission and my message has been about getting women to be more self-centered and not just kind of surrender their value to everyone else's opinion.
Love
Yeah.
it.
And,
So
and
important.
and we love mission-based work too. And I think that that's why we've connected like as internet friends who like just 95, just a stretch of 95 is between us. But we get the mission that there's something much bigger than who we
Yeah,
are as individuals as this experience, but like how is this changing our lives? How is how we approach our lives going to make a difference in the overall quality of it?
yeah,
And when we get to do that, that's just such a sweet spot. So thank you, Jen, for sharing your beautiful love and
Yes.
energy. And thank you everyone for being here. This was so
I
fun.
know it
yes.
was.
I can't wait to
It
have you on
was.
my show.
Oh
Yes.
my
We're so excited.
girl. I know.
So
We
excited.
we're picking out outfits already. We're
Hey,
like
question: would you guys come up to Philly if I film in Philly?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
because I kind of feel like it's halfway, halfway. Yeah,
Yeah.
ish. Maybe a little
Yeah.
further to go to Philly,
No,
but
we would love to come to Philly.
We love
okay.
we love Philly. We have friends in
Hmm.
Philly. Hi there, Permis. Okay, I can't pronounce that person's name. Sorry, I just saw someone that I always comment with. Anyway, all right, y'all. This was so
Yes.
fun. Mwah. We love you.
I love you back.
Bye.
Okay,
See ya.
bye everyone.